Well, I would say part of it is in who we pick. So picking founders who have an unfair advantage. I would say that the most successful founders already have one skill, not a ton of skills, but they have one thing that they are not world-class at, but incredibly good at, and they can be world-class at. You can see that potential in somebody, and you can feel it and you can see it in the work, because usually it's the engine for the company is like that one skill they have that's like crazy good. It's not just like, oh, like everybody else in the industry. It's like they stand out. That's the first thing, is that all of those people had that. And then they also had a really strong support system. I would say you have a very talented one or two founders who have crazy unique skill sets that are advantageous for the business. And then they have supportive family and partners with them. If you don't have one of those things, it's really tough, because you can have a team of 3 founders that are like all like good at something, and they could get a business that does like 10, 15 million. But if they're not in a great market with a great skill set, it's going to be tough. And on the other side, if you have a really talented person and they don't have a good support system, they often are their own demise. They sabotage themselves. I would like, success is a double-edged sword. And the thing that they're really good at, they usually also have these huge deficits and they have nobody to cover them. I think those two things have been traits in the founders that we've looked for. I do feel like we got really lucky with a couple of those companies, to be fair. Like I really do. Cause it's not like every company we invest in like skyrockets. And like, I don't want people to think that, cause I'm like, if you act like an idiot, it's nothing I can do. I'm not there every day. It's those two things. And then what we do is, the thing that's interesting is that we have Alex and I, and then our whole team. It's like we have Alex and I who are strategists that have complementary skills. And then we have our team who are strategists in each of their functions: marketing, sales, product, tech, customer success, people, whatever. We basically, whatever the constraint of the business is, whatever the reason it's not growing faster is, then we will just attack that first. And it's always different. It's always changing. And we just make sure that we have somebody that's on it and we know what that constraint is. And so it's really a question of asking yourself like, okay, there might be 7 things that are broken. Which one, if fixed, provides us with the highest return? That's it. And so it's like, cool, let's start there. And let's not try and do 6 at once. Let's start there. Let's do it this quarter. And the next quarter we'll take on another. And most people, if they took that approach, would get way more done in a year than they take by like, we got to solve all 7 right now. It's like, cool, you're going to like move each of them an inch rather than completing each. So that's a lot of the approach that we take. I will say that each company is different. So, one company we took on, I would say that a lot of our changes were strategic and they were very skilled operationally and didn't need a ton of help scaling the infrastructure to, hundreds and hundreds of people, versus, another company, we barely made any strategy changes and they needed all the help with the infrastructure. We built all the teams out. And so it's just whatever the business needs. And I think we just understand business well enough to know like what good looks like. So it's like, all right, we know. And if we don't know something, I at least have a network where I can bring somebody else in who does. And that's a huge advantage. It's like somebody's like, hey, we've got this Python code. So I don't know that. I will bring in my friend who I know is an expert in Python though, and he will look at it. And if we don't know a business, we don't invest in it. God. There's so many businesses that want to partner with us. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't know the first thing about this. They get on, they explain their business. I'm like, I don't even know what he just said. And I'm like, yeah, we can't invest in this business. I have no idea. And so we always take on industries that we understand and that we have, that our skills translate over to.
So it sounds to me like, if I'm hearing this, your ability to pick winners because of your experience and knowing what the key ingredients are that you can't invest in. Like once you have that, then we can help you. That's critical. And then it depends on if they need a strategic point of view or they need technical infrastructure help, then you can come in, you can help them solve that, right?
Yeah. But I will say, like, I think it sounds much more glamorous than it is. There's a lot of companies that, I made a decision a quarter ago and I was like, I'm getting rid of the bottom 3. I was like, I'm cutting them. Like we're going to divest, because it'd been a year and a half, 2 years. And those were investments where we did not take controlling interest, because that's what we did for most of the time up until recently. Like about 3 quarters ago, we changed to taking majority. We cannot move things forward because of the person leading the company. And then if the person leading the company, we can't move things forward. If they won't let us bring in somebody from the outside to move things forward, it's tough. And so, I take that on to mind. That's my bad. Like I didn't pick right. You know what I mean? And so that's a real thing. And I think a lot of people also don't know, in most private equity, in like there's portfolio theory, which is like 80 to 90% of your portfolio, like revenue and profit, comes from the top 1 to 3 companies in smaller portfolios. So it's like, how many companies do you have that are just like, they just never, the market changes, the founder becomes distracted, the product never is able to get that good, competitor comes to market. It's all the same. It's not like because Alex and Leila touch it, it's magic. I hate dealing with that. And that was honestly, that was a quarter for me, having to like be like, yeah, bye. And they're like, seriously, I thought you were gonna help me. And I'm like, but you actually don't have the capability to do this. And I have now realized that. And I suck for not having realized it sooner. That sucks. I hate it. It's literally, Jason knows. I like come out and I'm like therapy with the content team. They're like, what's wrong? I'm like, God, today had to have this conversation. I hate myself, But I don't want to be like normal private equity and just be like, yeah, we're just going to ride along and like cruise. And like, I'll just like take distributions and like know that you're not going anywhere, but I'll just take the money. I'm just not going to, I can't do that. It's not me.
That would probably be a drag on your mental energy and your resources, right? Because like,
Yeah.
these are not winners. Let's just cut our losses.
Right.